Thank you very much for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room, on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, on TikTok, on KTN Home, and on Spice FM. Ndu?
Yes.
Look at this.
I know.
Look at this, look at this.
Star Brand's fastest growing English radio station in Kenya, Spice FM. Imagine.
Ebushika.
Nishike.
Not one of the fastest growing brands, the fastest.
The fastest growing radio.
The fastest growing English radio station in Kenya.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it doesn't just come with a plaque, but yeah, Wanyonyi.
Yeah.
Feel how we feel.
Wow. This is really good.
Yeah. And on top
Well
of that,
done. And you have been very consistent in your presentation.
Thank you.
You are one of the best. In fact, you are the best. Yes.
because you said that,
Yes.
that's the reason why we are the fastest growing. It's because of people like you
Yes.
who tune in and listen to us every day. And City, onyesha kikombe.
Hii kikombe ya kifahari.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Surely. It's very, very, very nice. It just shows what you are made of.
Thank you.
You
Indeed.
are made of steel.
This is a special dedication to all our listeners, those who have been listening to us for the last 4 years since we first went on air as Spice FM. And you have consistently tuned in to the Situation Room, to Sugar and Spice with Yolanda, to Spice Drive with Quach, even to the weekend shows, because we have weekend shows with Jimmy Gathu, the Jimmy Gathu live on Saturday, and all the shows that we've had here. Thank you very much. It's for that reason that, of course, we're being recognized as the fastest growing radio in the Republic of Kenya. Hii mambo ya English ni kuongeza tu English. Okay, it's the fastest growing English. No, it's just fastest growing radio in Kenya.
Yes.
Thank you very much to you all. Mheshimiwa Wanyonyi, MP for Westlands, is our next guest. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Ragged.
Have you been?
Good. I've been good.
Very good. It's good.
A lot of heat, but there's one of the old songs I used to listen to by a group called Mangeleba. Iko nasema kichiko cha chikoni hakiokopi moto.
Kijiko cha jikoni hakiogopi moto. Ndu?
Yes.
Translate.
Oh my gosh. When you put me on the spot, everything disappears.
Just try.
There's kitchen and there's a spoon in there somewhere.
That's right.
And there's fire
And there's
or
fire.
heat or something.
Very good. You got it.
That's it?
That's it. Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't even know what I've said, but all right. Spoon,
Kitchen.
heat, kitchen.
Kitchen in the fire has a spoon.
Voila.
And there is no fear. The fear is gone. The fear is gone.
Okay, I think so.
When the spoon is in the kitchen, the fear is gone.
Yes.
The spoon in the kitchen
Does
doesn't
not
fear the fire. Voila. Okay. See,
They will not believe.
they will not believe me.
City, the day is Proverb Tafadhali.
Yes, our proverbs for this week come from the Union, the Republic, the Union of the Comoros. A slippery person is not a king.
A slippery person is not a king. Tim, what's your interpretation of this?
Wow. A slippery person is not
A king.
a king. Wow. I look at it this way, that for you to rise and sit on a throne, you must be a man of or a woman of character. If you are a man of loose morals, you can never rise and preside over any nation or group of people. Because people must have confidence in you that you are a person who can lead them somewhere. Maybe I'll get it wrong, but that's how I look at it.
You never get it wrong in Proverbs.
No, you don't. You don't. It's your interpretation.
Yes.
And it's a good interpretation.
Okay.
Yes.
It's good. It makes sense. It
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yes.
If you're somebody who is wishy-washy when it comes to morals, chapter 6, because of the
It applies to
Constitution. It applies to you. You cannot be a leader. A lot's happening in the country, Jim.
Yeah.
Like when you walked in, we said Karibu to the new Kenya, because this is the new Kenya.
Yes.
But this is what we see when we sit here. This is what we hear from the people who listen, people who are out in the streets, the Gen Zs, the millennials, the Gen Xers, and the others who are all supporting this movement. It doesn't appear to be the same thing for the political leaders. There's like the traditional politician
Yes.
is not seeing what this whole thing is all about.
You know, in my mother tongue, we have a word called pie pie. Pie pie means very hot. It is very hot. It's called pie pie. So anybody who is sitting and pretending that he's not feeling the heat, then he must be living in a fool's paradise. Because what is going on, even if you are living in pretending that you are not feeling the heat, it is actually very, very uncomfortable. And, the ground is shifting very quickly. You can go back, you can listen to many of my colleagues. They'll tell you, ever since things started, they have never set a foot in their constituency because things are different. Yeah, they are very different. When you go there, people now either ask you questions or even chase you away. Like our colleagues who voted yes for that bill, most of them are having it really rough. I have no problem with my constituency because I did not betray them. But I know it is actually very, 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 very hot out there.
And then what we're hearing now from many of them is what we have been hearing from the top levels of our politics.
Yes.
That the issue about the finance bill was a long time ago. Okay? Now we are just seeing something that is being sponsored and being pushed to change the politics of this country. Or to subvert our constitution.
Yeah. There is sometimes, when an idea whose time has come, you can never wish it away. And if our President Ruto today, I will listen very carefully what is going on. And then not become reactive. He should now engage this Gen Z generation and listen to them. The issues they are raising are very good issues. There are things that most of us, maybe we are afraid to say it openly, but they are saying it the way it is. They are just putting it point blank. And the president must now even summon his courage that this is time for him. An opportunity has come that he can actually change the landscape, the political landscape of this country, if he sees the moment, or if he listens and go by what these children are, these young fellows are asking. Because it is not an ordinary thing that young people have come on the street and they don't care. They're saying, even if you kill us, we are not going to stop coming until we get you to listen to us, until we can to change things, the way things are done in this country. Because we are just assuming that all is well, but it's not well. It's not.
From a leadership point of view, I think it's interesting, Weshimo, that you noted that those who may have voted yes and have, then not been able to go back to their political strongholds, their homes. What do they think about this situation, about the current way of things in which accountability is being demanded for? Because it's interesting, accountability is being demanded for across board, from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
What do they feel about this?
Yeah, because our constitution provides that Article 1 says that the power is with the people and they can use it directly or delegate it. And that delegation has been given unto us as members of Parliament, county assemblies and all that. But if we are not using it properly, they can recall it. And it's within their mandate that they can do that. So if you are a member of parliament or you are a member of county assembly or whichever position you hold, elective position, and you are not listening to your electorate, those are your bosses, then you are not representing them, because that is one of the core value function of a member of parliament or a member of a county assembly, that we represent the people at the level they have sent us. So if that goes wrong, then the people you represent, they can decide that we are taking back our mandate. And then for you, it means that now you have to go back and either seek fresh mandate or apologize and seek for, whether they'll listen to you again or not. So it is time for us to start re-examining ourselves from inside out, because things are not working the way we thought they will. Right now, even as we speak, we have been, since the Gen Z raided Parliament, we have been out of Parliament since that time. We are going back tomorrow. We don't know how it look like when we go back to that house, because right now these guys are going to put us on a radar. They will be listening and watching your action, that whatever you do is actually being mirrored by somebody.
Do you think it's a good thing that that's finally happening? It's not happened in this manner before. Do you think it's a good thing that now that there are people who are watching what elected representatives then are going to do and say, okay, they need to actually hold us to account? Is that a good thing?
I think it is a very good thing. That most of the time we have refused to account for actions. We have refused to account for even resources put before us to use in a particular way. And when we are put to task, people become very arrogant and sometimes refuse even to acknowledge that something is not working. Because normally when you are put in a position of authority or influence, you are supposed to influence certain things. You are supposed to influence maybe change and bring development within that area. You are supposed to influence some things happening in your area of your jurisdiction of representation. But if that is not happening, then the people have got the right to ask you. This thing called citizen participation. Sometimes when you want to do projects, for example, we have CDF in the constituencies. If I want to implement a project, we have to hold a public baraza with the people within that locality and ask them, we want to build a chief's office here. Is that a priority for us, or is there anything else that we want to do? And if the people say they don't want that, or you want to build a police station, then you have to come up with something else, or they propose something that is more in need in that place than what you want to do. So this participation is something that we must always be fair life to, because that is something that has been missing, is a missing link. And whatever that has happened in our country, what the Gen Z have done, they have just made some things start working. Because I don't imagine that there could be anybody who will have made President Ruto become, right now, he's even tongue-tied. He does not speak as fluent as he used to. Because these fellows have put him on task. They are asking questions, and the questions they're asking are actually something that has been going wrong for a very long time. And now they're calling for a check. We are here now to provide the check. If the people we put in place to oversight you or to check you have no power to check, then we are doing it directly.
We even described this topic today to be like the Gen Z expectations and the Gen Z way of doing things versus the traditional politics and the traditional way of leaders responding to issues, right? So let's start with the tradition. What we're used to seeing are leaders such as yourself, members of parliament, those in the governors, MCAs, coming to the people and presenting what they think the issues of the people are at campaign stage, getting elected, getting into office. And when you're getting into office, now you become the leader. You come and tell the people, this is what we are doing and this is why we are doing it. We are going to put up a police station here. Few, like yourself, will have the public baraza and say, would you like to have a police station? But many will be like, we want to put a police station here, sababu kumekuwa na uhalifu hapa. Na tunataka tuweke police station hapa. And they pretend that they have listened to the people. Many times when now people come out to strongly object, the politician will say, these guys have been sent by the other guy who I defeated in the last election. Yes. He is not accepting that I defeated him. And that's why I am the one in office today. And I'm the one who's going to influence the erection of a police station here.
Money has been poured.
Money has been poured. Gen Z are saying a different kind of thing. Now, Tim, do you think that it is possible, it is easy to understand this new Gen Z way of communication? For example, tomorrow you're back in Parliament. One of the things that you expect tomorrow in Parliament is a report by the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the supplementary budget. Okay? Do you have an idea what the people of Westlands would like to see in the appropriations budget?
Yeah, because
tomorrow if you went there and there was a decision that's made to adopt the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, do you know whether your people support it or not?
It is not difficult. It is difficult to know because sometimes, even though these things are found on the Parliamentary Facebook, any website, but how many people can access that? How many people even know that there's a Parliamentary website and the Parliamentary business is posted there? Some, even as members of Parliament, sometimes these things we read when we are already in the chambers, that this is what is coming up. A committee report that is coming for debate, it is brought to you when you are already on the floor, when you are already in the house, in the chambers. So you will have to peruse it very quickly, make up your mind, and then debate about that. So, and sometimes now, it's just out of your conscience that you feel that, is this what the people want, or is this what I've been sent to do? And then you realize that actually you may be misrepresenting people. You may be offering your own personal opinion and not what the larger public will be thinking about. The people of Westlands might be saying that the Kangemi preach. This preach has been standing there for many years now. And I have brought this issue in Parliament several times. I've gone to the minister, but still, they're saying they don't have money. And this bridge has become a very dangerous place because it actually disconnects the sides of this side of the highway and this other side. So people from Loresho will not cross over to Kangemi. They have to take a long route to go to Kangemi. And to me, the people of Kangemi, that's a priority, that bridge must be done. And if that is not done, then something is not going right. And they'll keep on asking that thing until the government listens to them. And the issue of telling us that there are no funds, that is neither here or there. Because when they started doing that project, there were funds. And the funds were there to do and complete the project. So what happened? Did somebody divert the money, or what happened?
So then that's what I was asking. Sometimes it's difficult to know what the demands are.
Yes.
And right now, the demands are live, right?
Yes.
If you listen to what the president was saying yesterday, so they agitated against the finance bill. I first amended, then I heard them saying, no, don't amend, reject. So I said, okay, I'm not going to sign it. So I didn't sign it. Then I heard change the government. So I dissolved the cabinet. So I had, at some point, I need to know what am I dealing with. There are too many, conversations happening at the same time that I am not even sure what do you want me to address. Well, is it unfair to expect the president to actually address all these issues when it's not clear what exactly the issues are? Or are there issues that the president is just choosing not to address?
There are issues, but they're just making it they are just making it look like the president to understand that there are many issues. They are not just two. It's not just about the finance bill. There are many underlying issues that they must be brought on the table. And the more he listens, and he said he went to the experts and they disappeared on him. Because I think they were feeling that the president is not being being honest with them, and that's why they didn't want to engage him. Because they are saying what they have asked is quite out there in black and white. Why doesn't he just take up and act on those issues? Not selectively, but, take it up and say, this one we are doing now, this one we shall do it some other. You must give some roadmap where you want to go with those issues. But when you start now talking in tongues, then they will tell you that, my friend, you are becoming clever, and we shall deal with you.
Then before you took the break,
yes,
going with that same trajectory,
yes,
people want this parliament dissolved, disbanded.
And
why are you still in parliament? Why don't all of you just go home and say, you know what, there's clearly people entered parliament to express their displeasure with the 13th parliament.
Yes.
Why don't we all go home?
And we are saying that there's no problem dissolving parliament. We can all go home and let it be the whole chain running from the executive down to the county assemblies, because we are all representing people. And at every level, there's a book called 360 degree leadership. So at every level of leadership, there's somebody responsible for something. So if at that level there's a dysfunction, then that level must collapse. And everybody must take responsibility. It is not just parliament, but all this chain going downwards. If you go to the counties, we have the executive, the governor, and then the assemblies down like that. So you dissolve parliament, dissolve the county assemblies, let the president also take up and go back to the people and seek fresh mandate.
Many people have billed you as an honest, forthright leader of the people, one who listens. Are you prepared to take this as political responsibility and say, you know what, people don't have confidence in the 13th Parliament. I'm a member of the 13th Parliament. It's been soiled. I will step aside and seek a fresh mandate from the people of Westlands. If they want me back here, I come back. But I come back with a clean conscience that they did not have a problem with Tim Wanyonyi. They had a problem with the others.
Yes.
Can you resign?
I'm ready to take that walk. I am ready to take that walk because I have served in the past 2 parliaments. And this is one parliament that is so indecisive that the people who sit in this parliament, some of them are just voting robots or whatever you call them, because they come only the time when they are calling for the vote. They have no idea what has been debated. They have not read anything, but because they reach and then the whip of that side tells them, we are voting yes. And they just vote yes and leave. And you see, when you go out there, even if you voted no or you did what, it is just collective responsibility as a whole parliament. People will say this parliament is bad, and doesn't matter if there are a few good people inside there. All of you are put together in the same basket, and you are rotten. So they have to throw out all of you.
So the protests, according to what we are being told, are going to continue tomorrow, Weshimiwa. And there's a lot of underlying conversations around what happens with good governance, what happens with issues of accountability and corruption. Again, like we said, from top to bottom, what the desire would be at the end of the day is that there is good governance, citizen-centric governance, and that the primary stakeholder, which is the citizen, be involved or made aware of what is happening in a transparent manner. From an executive point of view, is this too much to ask?
It is not too much to ask, because as a leader, you are responsible for every action you take. And every decision you make, it is about the people. And if there are no people, then you will not be in that position. So you must listen, because this is a delicate position. They have given you that authority to make a decision for them. And if you are not making the right decision, they'll ask you questions. And accountability is something that looks like it's foreign to us. That people in this country, when they're asked to take responsibility, they pass the blame to somebody else, or they apportion blame. And it's always that the top guy, if you are the one sitting in the top position, the buck stops at your desk. It does not, like a minister saying, a minister of interior blaming a chief somewhere in the village. This chief was the one who was responsible for the chaos that happened here. It is under your watch that thing happened. Even if that chief is responsible, you do not have to tell us about the chief. It is you to take that responsibility. If a minister of finance, something has happened, a scandal has come in his target, he cannot blame some small officer at the treasury, but the minister must take responsibility. So this is something that looks foreign to us, but is something that somewhere else in other jurisdictions. I know, like in Korea, where it was somebody who was just adversely mentioned in a scandal. He committed suicide. That's how serious it is. But here, it is something like our community is being crucified. Something is happening. Then you mobilize your community to start agitating that they are trying to finish you, or you come and say money has been poured by my opponents and this is happening. This is now the time to call the roll call. Who is who is responsible to the people and who is not? And this is the time for us to listen and do what is supposed to be done.
Mheshimiwa, you have a very structured way of engaging with the people who you represent. This I know for a fact.
Yes.
What I'd like you to perhaps tell us is, when you talk to them on this subject that we've been hearing of dialogue, and on this subject of the unitary government, what are their views?
Their views is no. Don't get into government. Let Kenya Kwanza carry their own cross. Because I think getting into that government right now, as a politician, is amounts to almost to suicide, because these guys have already a noose around their neck. And if you go there, somebody can throw you out, then you'll be the one who will be hanged and leave them. You know, what happened to us last time is that after handshake, President Ruto and his team used that as a campaign tool and blamed entirely the failure of the last government on the handshake. And this is what will happen at now. And this is even worse, because what is happening is that Kenyans have woken up, and Kenyans are demanding things. And now if you jump on the other side where they're asking them to account and they have failed to account, then you also carry that cross. So for us, it is a no-no. And even in our PG, we passed our resolution. We said it's not an option for us even to think or imagine that we can join the government of Kenya Kwanza.
You know, there are many reports that come out of the ODM PG, the Azimio PG, on what was agreed and what was discussed there. Please just tell us. So there was an ODM parliamentary group meeting where this matter of, talks and dialogue and maybe a possibility of a broad-based government where you would be included came up. Are you saying that the majority of members in that meeting were opposed to the idea?
We unanimously resolved that we shall not join the government. We shall not join the government. And that was, in fact, a resolution that was passed by the Central Committee of ODM. And it was brought to the parliamentary group. And that was a combined parliamentary group and the NEC. And unanimously, we passed that joining the government is not on the table for us, and we are not taking that as an option. The only thing that we say that we can take part is this thing of not dialogue, but a national. We said we want a national convention, which will include all stakeholders, that they come together at the national level at Bomas of Kenya, so that we bring in people similar to the group that was there that discussed the current constitution. So that
like a Bomas, like a constituent assembly.
Yes, a constituent assembly, so that whatever decision that will be taken there, it can be used even to amend the constitution to include these demands that are coming up from several quarters of the country. And it will even be an opportunity for us to take audit of the constitution, having been there now for more than 10 years. I think it is time now to see reality check. Is it working for us? Or there are some things that are not working for us? And given even the way of governance and the way it's structured, is it working for us, or we need to relook into this thing? Because there are some things we took on. You realize in the last dispensation we were a parliamentary setup, but now we have a presidential system. Is the presidential system working for us better, or the parliamentary system was working for us better? So these are some of the things that we can look into, but not a dialogue that will be constituted by the president, and it will be everything will be said by the president. That one is not acceptable to us.
But then, Mheshimiwa, there are those who, after hearing that, the response was, we do not want talks. We have not asked for dialogue. All we are saying is implement the Constitution and adhere to the tenets of the Constitution. If it's about governance, the Constitution is clear on governance. If it's about integrity, the Constitution is clear on integrity. If it's about accountability, the Constitution is clear on accountability.
Yes.
And the roles of each institution, including the legislature and the executive and the judiciary, the constitutional commissions, the independent offices. People have said back, they've said, dialogue for what? What's broken is clear. Fix what's broken.
Yes, that is true. That is also true. But sometimes, when you are pushing for something and you want it to take the shape that you want to take, maybe the current legal framework that is there is not effective enough. And you can make good of it and improve, because since people have lost confidence in Parliament, it will be better if it comes from the people themselves and come and propose that we don't want this section of the law. We want it to change it to this way or do something like that. For example, this appointment of cabinet secretaries is a prerogative for the president. And people are saying that whoever the president is appointing, they don't want them. So could we look into it that that role be given to somebody so that the president can only appoint what has been given to him, but not him initiating it and appointing and doing everything like that, because we've seen what he has done.
But Mheshimiwa, it's not everything. I mean, the president only nominates.
No, he appoints actually.
Upon approval of Parliament.
Yes.
The president only nominates.
And you
if
can
the president
see,
nominates and the people through Parliament reject a candidate, the president cannot appoint that candidate.
The problem, what I've told you about the previous engagement, is that Parliament is supposed to vet these people. And vetting means that you invite the public also to bring the dossier on anybody who has been nominated to sit in a particular position. The public do that. You realize even the finance bill, 80% of the people who appeared before the parliamentary committee rejected that bill, but it came to Parliament and passed.
So where does the notion arise from that Parliament just gives rubber stamp approval of what the executive actually wants?
Because the executive has actually taken control of Parliament. That Parliament no longer stands on its own feet. It is now the executive says we want this, and that's what will go. And you heard even once the president was in some place and he said, I'm waiting to see any member of parliament who will vote against the finance bill. And you know that kind of talk.
It's scary.
It just causes fear in some of those members.
What do they think will happen to them? Because these are individuals who've been elected by the people. And if the executive says, let me see who will vote against it, and you say it's fear of what?
Because these people, that, although they have been elected by the people, but is a character who has been created by the president, who has brought him. He didn't come out by himself and say, I want to run for member of parliament for this particular constituency. He has been put there, and he knows he owes it to the president. So if he doesn't do what the president wants, so the guy will be cooked. It's like, but for us, as in the opposition, even if there is always a collective, that we are going to take this kind of stand, you are at liberty even to deviate from that. You can deviate from that, even if they want to whip you, but you can deviate. Yeah, and me, I believe strongly in my conscience. If this thing is not right, I'll not be whipped to fight for it. If it's not going to, I know very well deep in my heart that it's wrong. Then I'll stand by what I believe.
So the problem is not the institution of parliament.
It is
what the constitution says as parliament.
Yes.
It's the individuals who are in parliament.
So
we don't need to change the system of government to correct this. We just need to get you all lot home and elect new ones.
And make members of parliament, let them be responsible. And I'm very sure, I'm telling you, from now going forward, that parliament is going to change. I don't think people are going to become rubber stamp anymore.
Mheshimiwa, from your mouth you got ears. We have a situation before us with these new appointees. Nominees.
Yes.
And they will come to parliament. And parliament resumes tomorrow.
Yes.
At some point in the course of the month, they will arrive. The proof of the pudding will be then.
Yes.
If parliament got the memo that it isn't business as usual, we will see. If they got the memo or didn't get the memo, again, we will see. Yes, because the vast majority of members of parliament don't actually come from Nairobi, they come from elsewhere.
Yes.
And elsewhere has been, as we say in Kiswahili, hakukaliki.
Yes. Hakukaliki.
Yes.
It is hot.
It is very, very hot.
Very hot.
Yes.
Yes.
So because if indeed, as you say, what they do is they listen to the piper, and the piper is at State House. And come the time when they're supposed to make the decision, and they make a decision to send home these people.
Yes.
My thought, perhaps the president has foreseen this, and I said, let parliament do what they will, so that I can tell my friends, I nominated you, parliament decided.
But the people.
The people decided. Or on the other hand, it'll be, I thought a man who gave you this job, and here you voted against me. So the question that you asked we will at least understand what the response will be, won't we?
Indeed.
Yes. But it will, as you say, business will not be as usual.
No.
That's what we hope.
I am waiting to see.
I am almost sure it will work like that, because these guys are scared now. These guys are scared, especially after the invasion of parliament. And they realize we are not safe. These guys can catch up with you.
But this is it.
When they tell you, tunakuja kusalamia.
Well, I think also, it has also, and maybe you can, talk to this as well, that there provides an opportunity also for Kenyans once again, because I'll forever speak for the people, that it provides an opportunity for Kenyans once again to actually see what leadership really ought to be. My village has a saying, my language rather, and CT has talked about this before, that it is when the wind blows that the backside of the fowl will be seen. The feathers will open for you to really see what the true picture is. So Kenyans have been sending people to parliament for years. And now we are saying that, yes, you've sent people to parliament only for them to serve at the behest of the president or the executive, which should not be the case. So the high chances of then people going back to the ballot at the point that they will be, and Kenyans are going to think twice finally, about who they vote for, because it has been made very open and very clear that actually you're going to do the bidding of the executive, or you're going to do your own personal bidding, and that the people of Kenya's in terms of a priority at the very bottom of the ladder. I see a shift, a wind of change is actually blowing here, and it will not be business as usual going forward.
It will not be business as usual. Kenyans have woken up, and I like to applaud this Gen Z group. These young fellows, when they come the first time, we thought it was a joke. And now they kept on coming. And they're promising to do this, and they did. They promised to do this, and they did. And as we have been in these demonstrations before, and when we are doing it, it was very difficult even to mobilize people to come on the street. But these guys are doing it very easily, using technology and mobilizing themselves, and coming there and even engaging the police. The police are there with tear gas and all those kind of things, but they're engaging them. There are some of them when we are talking to them. I saw a girl who stood at the police and said, "Why are you arresting me? Can you tell me why? What have I done?" And the police was just told her to go away. And that's unheard of, because the police will clobber you if you dare confront him. And by these people standing up at anybody, and I'm telling you, even the president, even if he speaks tough, they don't care. They are just telling him, you must listen to us, and you must do what we are asking you to do. It's not a favor, it is our right. It is our constitutional right that the president must also behave in a particular manner. He must listen to them. He cannot issue threats. He cannot do ABCD. And this is something that all of us as leaders, we must take home, because it is not business as usual. It is now people saying, look, our children are on the street. These are young fellows who say, I don't own anything in this country. Even if you kill me, it's nothing. And I remember even in my own children, they went for the demonstration, and they came first. Even I have the pictures here. They said, Daddy, if we got missing, this is our picture. You can look for us. So, now these are guys who are even telling you, you guys, you have not done it, we are going to do it for you.
We are prepared to go to the very end of this.
And we are prepared to go to the farthest as we can go. And whether you mobilize the military or whether you mobilize who, they don't care. They are just going to go. And if they tell you they are going to mobilize 1 million, I believe them. They can do that. Because we don't know where they are getting this energy from. But in our mother tongue, we also say that these guys are standing sirr. Sirr means it means that they're standing firm. You cannot always tingiza yeye
kidete.
Amesimama kitete. You always tingiza yeye. You are standing firm, and whatever you do or say, it doesn't matter.
The centers of devolution, devolution, and the same protesters have said, we also want to focus our attention on what's been happening in our counties, right? So 11 years of devolution, what are we seeing? Are we feeling the fruits of devolution?
Yes.
And they've started turning the heat on that. I mean, as somebody who was, of course, the last time you expressed interest in becoming governor of Nairobi, and you've been interested in devolution, do you think there's sufficient heat and attention being turned to governors and counties?
I think that focus should now shift to the counties, because you realize the first demonstration, the governor of Mombasa came out and was among the demonstrators. He was leading and addressed them. But now they turned around and said, now we are coming for you. The guy, I'm sure even his office now becomes very hot. So it is the issue of accountability. The first governors who occupy that office, there were no structures at that time. The structures the framework, the legal framework had not been put in place. So they were just operating in any way they want. Along the way, these structures have been put in place. There is a legal framework guiding each and everything. But you still find that there is very little to show off in the counties. Very many counties, as the auditor, the control of budget has shown that most counties are even not putting money for development. You find, I saw the other day a report that the county, the city county of Nairobi spent over 600 million in 9 months on foreign travelers only, which means these guys have got their priorities upside down. Those foreign travels, what are they translating to? Are they bringing in anything that has changed the way city is being governed? Is there anything that they have? Because many times they say they are going to benchmark, and they come back, you don't see where they went to benchmark. There was one time the MCS of Muranga went to Rwanda, and everything they went to see, they were told this thing came from Muranga. This farming, this what we
benchmarked in Muranga.
In Muranga, and here you have come to do that. I remember when Kaboko was the governor of Kiambu, the MCAs of Kiambu used to come to benchmark at Parliament. They used to come. They want to learn how Parliament do things, because now they are trying to align the county assemblies to the structures of Parliament, everything, including in the legislative process and all that. So they came to Parliament and went through from committee to committee to all that. So you find that is a bit more realistic than traveling to Israel or traveling to South Africa
to benchmark.
When something is right here for you.
Tim, always a pleasure having you here. And it's good to have you here again. Today we'll invite you very soon for a return conversation. The Honorable Tim Wanyonyi, Member of Parliament, Westlands constituency, has been our guest.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.